What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is absolutely packed with major developments that could have massive implications for our Dallas Cowboys. If you're even remotely tuned into NFL news, you know the league is heating up with trade rumors, unexpected roster decisions, and shocking updates that could impact our team's chances of going all the way this season. So sit back, grab a drink, because this one is going to be a deep dive into how recent NFL headlines featuring names like Jalen Ramsey, Jaire Alexander, and Shakeup might just shape the future of the Cowboys. Now, let's start with a name that's already turning heads: Jalen Ramsey. Yes, the six-time Pro Bowler and former All-Pro cornerback who played with the Miami Dolphins last season is suddenly being talked about in trade rumors. Reports have surfaced that the Dolphins may be exploring options to move Ramsey, and guess who has reportedly shown interest? You got it, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, let's talk real for a minute here. Ramsey isn't exactly the elite-level cornerback he once was back in his Jaguars and early Rams days, but he's still an absolute force when healthy and motivated. He missed part of last season with a knee injury, but he came back with a vengeance. He finished the year strong, notching multiple interceptions and showcasing the kind of instincts and physicality that made him a household name. So why are the Dolphins thinking of moving him? Simple, it's about money. The NFL is a business, and Miami is looking to create cap flexibility and invest in other areas of the team. That opens the door for Dallas to potentially swoop in and make a deal. Now, this isn't just wishful thinking, Cowboys fans. Ramsey has long admired the culture in Dallas. He's openly spoken about his respect for Dan Quinn's defensive mind, before Quinn moved on, of course, and his ability to play both man and zone coverage makes him a seamless fit in the Cowboys scheme. But the question remains, should Dallas go after him? The cost is likely to be steep, either a high draft pick or a solid player in return, and then there's the contract to consider. Ramsey comes with a cap hit north of $17 million. For a team already facing tough decisions on how to pay guys like CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, and eventually Dak Prescott, again, is it worth the squeeze? That's where it gets interesting, because Ramsey's presence could transform the secondary. Imagine a fully healthy Trayvon Diggs on one side and Jalen Ramsey locking down the other. You want to talk about fear factor? That tandem could rival any duo in the league. It's been a while since the Cowboys had that kind of firepower on the back end, and it could allow them to unleash even more pressure up front. Micah Parsons would thrive in that scenario, knowing the back end has him covered. But Ramsey isn't the only cornerback creating noise right now. Let's pivot over to another name that's been circulating in trade discussions: Jaire Alexander of the Green Bay Packers. Now, this is a name that gets any football fan excited. Alexander has been a beast when healthy: quick feet, high football IQ, sticky man coverage. He's a corner who doesn't shy away from a challenge. But what's wild is that we're hearing that Alexander might not even want to be traded. According to several insiders, he would prefer to be released so he can choose his next destination, and that throws a whole different wrinkle into the conversation. If Green Bay moves forward with a release or even hints at one, Dallas should be waiting with open arms. Unlike Ramsey, Alexander is a little younger, carries a slightly more team-friendly contract, and fits the Cowboys' timeline better. His style of play would complement Diggs perfectly, and he'd instantly bring swagger, leadership, and lockdown ability to a unit that struggled with consistency down the stretch last year. But of course, there's always risk. Alexander missed time last season due to injuries, and questions linger about his durability. If you're the Cowboys front office, you have to weigh whether you're getting 17 games out of him or 7. Still, when you look at what this team has been missing, a consistent playmaker in the secondary when Diggs is out, Alexander checks a lot of boxes. Now, while everyone's focused on the defensive side of the ball, we can't ignore what's brewing on offense. Let's talk about Shakeup for a second, the Bills' electric young running back. Word out of Buffalo is that Cook might be available via trade, and that should have the Cowboys picking up the phone immediately. Why? Because this offense desperately needs an identity in the run game. Last season, the Cowboys went into the year with high hopes for Tony Pollard leading the charge post-Zeke era, but things didn't exactly go according to plan. Pollard was good, not great. The explosion we saw in 2022 just didn't show up consistently, and the running game as a whole became stale, predictable, and limited in its creativity. Enter James Cook. This guy is lightning in a bottle. In just his second season, he posted over 1,000 rushing yards, added nearly 400 receiving yards, and displayed elite agility and burst. But what really makes him valuable is his dual threat capability. He can line up in the slot, he can catch passes out of the backfield, he can break off long runs, and he's a nightmare in open space. Imagine pairing him with Pollard in a two-back set. Suddenly, you've got mismatches all over the field. Linebackers can't keep up. Safeties have to respect the play action. And Dak Prescott gets more flexibility to work the short game while setting up the deep shots to Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and maybe even Jalen Tolbert or Jake Ferguson. Cook's presence could be the key that unlocks the full potential of this offense, and he wouldn't break the bank. Plus, with Buffalo trying to reload around Josh Allen, they might be willing to part ways with Cook for the right offer. It might cost a mid-round pick, but the return could be game-changing. Of course, none of these moves come without consequences, and that brings us to the real challenge, the salary cap. If the Cowboys want to be players in this market, they've got to make room. One name being floated around as a potential cap casualty is Donovan Wilson. As much as it hurts to say, Wilson could be on his way out. The safety has been a warrior for this team, bringing hard-hitting energy and a physical presence in the run game, but his cap number around $8. $6 million is tough to justify if the team plans to revamp the secondary with bigger names. On top of that, the Cowboys have invested in younger safeties like Malik Hooker and Israel Mukuamu, and they're clearly looking to get faster and more versatile in the back end. Wilson's release, while painful, could open up just enough space to land a guy like Alexander or bring in a playmaker like Cook. There's also the possibility that the front office could restructure some existing contracts like Dak's, DeMarcus Lawrence's, or even Zach Martin's to create more room. And let's not forget, this is a pivotal season for Mike McCarthy and his staff. After back-to-back playoff disappointments, the pressure is sky high. Jerry Jones has made it clear he's not getting any younger, and he wants to win now. That urgency could push the Cowboys into making a splash move. Whether that's a bold trade, a surprise signing, or a creative draft day maneuver, it feels like Dallas is poised to do something dramatic. And here's the thing, these aren't just random rumors. These are calculated, credible reports that connect directly to the Cowboys' current roster needs and financial situation. Jalen Ramsey could bring veteran leadership and swagger. Jaire Alexander could offer elite coverage skills and a younger ceiling. James Cook could finally give this team the lightning and thunder duo they've lacked since the early Zeke years. And every one of these moves would send a message to the locker room and the league. The Cowboys are not content with 12 wins and a wild card exit. They're gunning for a title. So what do you think, Cowboys Nation? Would you take the risk and go after Ramsey, even if it costs a day 2 pick and some cap gymnastics? Do you believe Alexander could be the shutdown piece this secondary needs? And how do you feel about James Cook in that backfield, giving us speed, hands, and versatility we haven't seen in years? I want to hear from you. Drop a comment down below and let's get that conversation going. And if you're as hyped about this upcoming season as I am, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We've got breakdowns, film analysis, live streams, and more coming your way all off-season long. Cowboys Nation, it's going to be a wild ride, so buckle up. Until next time, stay true, stay hungry, and as always, go Cowboys.